So girls, we are starting with cascading style sheets. Fine. So you should know what are static web pages and what are dynamic web pages. Static means unchanged. Okay. So the web pages whose contents remain unchanged, these are static websites. These web pages are loaded on the client's browser exactly in the same way as they are stored in web server. And the language that is used for creating the static websites or web pages is only HTML. The next is your dynamic web pages. So in dynamic web pages, when a user requests for the page, each time the user requests for the page, it shows different contents based on the user interaction. The page that the user view at the time exists for only for him and for that very moment. So example of dynamic web pages is your online shopping website. Okay, even your newspaper website is also an example of dynamic website because the contents need to be changed or need to be always updated. So dynamic web pages are created using ASP, PHP and DHTML. So DHTML is dynamic hypertext markup language. It is not a language, it is combination of web development technology like HTML, that is used for creating static pages, and JavaScript and CSS, that is CSS is your styling language, and document object model, that is DOM. Fine. So DHTML is the one that is helpful in creating dynamic web pages. Now, what are the components of DHTML? It is HTML, okay, that we have already studied, that it is used for creating a basic structure of web pages by using elements like paragraph heading, forms, tables, links, okay. Then CSS, this is a styling language. Okay, so this CSS is used to make a appearance of the web page more effective. It enhances the look of a web page. So using CSS you can set the font color, background, position, margin, etc. at various elements of web pages. So CSS is very easy. So we will be studying CSS now. So CSS, in this we will be studying, the first thing that we are going to study is what are the rules, how do we write the syntax of CSS. See, CSS, it just saves your time. Okay, the downloading of the page is very fast if we use CSS, the maintenance is very easy, and the style is superior as compared to HTML. Okay, and it is used globally. Okay, and even it provides offline browsing. And the disadvantage of cascading is it is not all the browser does not support it. Okay, then the background per element, it is restricted, and there is a security problem in CSS. Fine. Now to imply cascading, you make use of these terms. First is property, value, declaration, selector and rule. So property, using the property you define how the element with distinct style should look on the web page. Okay. Value, you assign the value to the property. Declaration, the property and the value together is known as declaration. Selector, it is the name of the HTML element to which style is applied. And rule, a rule is a combination of selector and declaration, and it is always enclosed in curly braces. Look here, like this body. Okay, here font family is the property and the value assigned to font family is Arial, and property and value together they are known as declaration. And here this body is a selector, okay, means the element of HTML on which the style is applied. Now look at one more example. In this, the element on which we are applying style is heading 1, H1, property is color, value is blue. Property and value together is known as declaration. Selector and declaration together known as a rule. Fine. Now basically there are three types of selectors in CSS. When we talk about universal selector, you make use of a wildcard character, the asterisk one. Okay, this asterisk one, we make use of this one. This is this asterisk one. Okay, this tells that we are making use of universal selector, and we have written color green and font size 20. Fine. So what are we doing in this? That all the elements in a document, the color will be green and the font size will be 20. Fine. So like here the elements is H1 and P. For both these elements, the color will be green and the font size will be 20. Okay. So when you put asterisk sign here and you write this is your universal selector. Okay. Now the second one is your type selector. In type selector, you write here style type CSS. Now here you will write the name of a selector, values. Fine. Then this is your type selector. Now the class selector, here you make use of this dot and my class. You can give any name here, but the name of the class will always start with a dot symbol. Okay, and then any name of your class and color red. Now in your coding, wherever you will write H1 class is equal to my class, so here this thing will be applied, that color will be red. And here P, in this P, and if I write here my class, then for this also the color will be red. Fine. Then is using ID selector. For ID you will use this hash sign and you will give the name to it, and then the color red, and wherever you're going to use this font IT, and you can declare like this and you can use this. Fine. So this is how you can create, these are the different types of selectors that you can use. Okay, so like the difference between ID selector and the class selector is that when we make class, we make use of dot. Okay, and when we make use of ID selector, we make use of hash symbol before the ID name. Okay, now there are three methods of applying CSS: inline, internal and external. Internal is also known as embedded style sheets. So let's start with this. This is some of the theory part for you, that how can you write this 3 ways: internal, external. Okay. So when we talk about external style sheet, you can change the entire website by changing just one file, because in external style sheet you make two files. One is the file in which you keep all the formatting features, and the other is the similar page. Now here when you will going to save this, you are going to save it with .css. So this external I'll be explaining you later. The internal one, okay, in the internal one style sheet you will write here style and the selector name, and then background color linen, the selector name, property value colon, and this, and then you can simply use this. So this is internal cascading. If you talk about inline, so it is a unique to provide the style only to the single element. So here you will write the selector name in this. Fine. And then style, and then color blue, this, and then this. Fine. So this is your inline selectors. So inline style loses many of the advantages of style sheet. Okay, so what is the order? So you can also apply all the style sheets together, but the inline has the highest priority and will override external and internal style sheets. Fine. So you can in one you can use many style, like all the three types of style sheets, but the main one is this inline will be getting the highest priority as compared to your external and internal styles. So this inline is this one. Fine. And now come to this CSS background color. So girls, in this there are few properties of the background, that you should know, that if you want to apply the background, you will write background dot dash color, background dash image, background dash repeat, and using backend shorten property. So you can apply this onto any element. How you will apply this? Like suppose if you want to apply the image, you will write background image and the path of the image. The image is repeated, so it covers the entire element. Okay, background repeat, background. See, in shorthand you can use all the property in a single property. Color is equal to this image URL, repeat, and position. Okay, so this is your shorthand property. So like all description is here. You can set the color here, you can set the image here, set how the image will be repeated. Now this is the example for you. Okay, you have to solve this and you have to share it in a class group with me. Fine. Then border style. When you want to specify the style width and color of the border, you make use of this. So the style has this properties like dotted, dash, solid, double, groove, ridge, inset, outside, none, hidden. Okay, and the width, the property in this you will specify it in the form of inches, pixels, centimeters. Okay, and thin, medium, and thick also are the properties. So this you have to learn, that how can you specify the colors, how can you specify the width. Okay, so now the second one is font properties. So font family, then font name, generic name. Font name is the name of the desired one, and this generic name is like the serif, sans, mono, space, and all. So the example is font family Arial. If you want to use internal style sheet, you will like this. If you want to use inline, you will write P style font family monotype cursive like this. Font style value, where value can be normal, italic, oblique, and you will write it like this. For internal you are going to write this, and for inline you are going to write it like this. Okay, for font size also, absolute size, relative size, where absolute size the value can be xx small, x small, relative is larger, smaller. By default the font size is 16 pixels. This is how you can make use of internal and external. For font weight, fine. So this is something that you have to learn, that how to write, what are the values of it. Fine. The align value can be left, right, center, and justify. So like this you can use. Then indent value, length, percentage. Okay, and then you can specify like this. Color value, you can give the name of the color, you can give the hexa value, you can use RGB color code also like this. Can you see? This is an internal and inline style sheet. Then height and width property. So see, paragraph with this, hide this, background color yellow. You can close this and you can view this here, that the width will be 100, the height will be 100, and the background color will be yellow. Float property, left, right, none, inherit, and none is the default value. None is the default value of this. Fine. So what does a float property do? It is used to push the position of the element to either left side, right side, none. Okay. Then outline property, the value is dotted, dash, solid, double, groove. So when you want to draw extra border around the element of a web page, you make use of outline property. Outline width, when you want to specify the style of the outline, you can make use of this outline width to set the width, thin, thick, medium, length. Okay, something like this. And then comes the margin. So when you want to set the margin, the value can be top, left, right, bottom. Fine. So to specify the margin for all the elements, you make use of this. Okay, for internal and inline. So it cannot be a background color, and we can also give negative value to the margin property. Now comes the padding. What is the padding? Okay, so the syntax is padding dash side and then the value, and the value is in length and percentage. Fine. So what does a padding do? The space around is given by the padding. So if that default value for the padding is 0, okay, the space between the content and the border of an element is done by padding. So when we want to add the padding space to all the four sides of the element, you make use of this, and by default it is 0, and it is given in the same way as you give margin.